Recording in progress.
Good evening, everybody. I'm David Jones. I will be the Sergeant at Arms tonight. For the guests and speakers, don't forget this microphone is only for Zoom. If you go to our webpage on the bottom left, it says YouTube. If you click on that, all of our meetings are there, so you can go back and watch yourself, whether it's a roll or something simple. You just see how you did. And this is what this is for. So you have to project. We have the HVAC in the back. It's a loud place. Bathrooms are behind me. Men's on the right here for you guys and women on the left. And we're going to go ahead and get started. And I'll introduce our presiding officer, who is our VP of Education, immediate past president and area director. Please welcome Elvis Lopez. Oh, yay. Thanks, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. Welcome to Queen City Toastmasters, the oldest club in Charlotte. We have an excellent meeting tonight, an exciting meeting with two speakers and a lot of excitement with our Toastmaster of the day. But before I introduce our Toastmaster of the day, I would like to go ahead and introduce our guests. It is customary for us to go over our guests, and we would like you to let us know your name, how did you hear about us, and what would you like to take away from the meeting today. So for that, I would like to ask the help of our Toastmaster David Jones.
Thank you.
Help with the introduction.
Just want to introduce yourself, say how you heard about us and why you're here.
Hi, my name's Jamie. I heard about us through my boss. I work for a salon distributor, so she told me about the program. And I'm just looking to be more confident when speaking and in my new leadership role at work.
Thank you for joining us. Sir, and you're up next. Yep.
I'm Tavares. Thank you for this opportunity for allowing me to come out here today. I'm here at Toastmasters because I'm trying to remove the ums out of my conversation, right? So I'm in the sales. I'm an independent contractor with sales. I own a sales company. I own an educational company as well. So communication is the key. And if you guys can help me remove the ums, I'll be truly thankful.
Perfect. Well, Shannon is our grammarian tonight, so he'll listen in for you. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Chris. I've been to this Toastmaster a couple times before. I heard about it through a friend. Just here to get more comfortable speaking in front of others and just kind of coming up with topics spur of the moment, kind of getting that brain to fire a little bit quicker.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Rocky, are you a guest or a member tonight?
Yes, I've been.
Yeah, I think he's been out sick. Well, we'll have you introduce yourself since you're officially.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Rockney. Sorry, inconvenience. I was late. I've been coming. I want to say to these pretty consecutively, much as I can. So I've really enjoyed it, just improving my public speaking skills and just learning and growing. So I'm excited about tonight's meeting. So
Thank you all for coming. Appreciate it. Hand us back to our Presidente. There you go.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster David. And now I would like to introduce a person who is going to delight us with the conduction of our meeting tonight. Every week, for the benefit of the guests, every week we have Toastmasters who volunteer for different roles. One of those roles is the Toastmaster of the Day. This person is on that role now for the second time. She did an excellent job, fantastic job, I should say, the first time that she was the Toastmaster. And Now she is bringing a very interesting theme that you will know during the course of the meeting. But I would like her to introduce herself and explain everything that she has to share with us tonight. So please help me welcome Toastmaster of the Day, Aly Brooke.
Thank you, Toastmaster Elvis. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. I am Aly Brooke, and I am honored to be the Toastmaster of the day. And today our theme, or tonight, our theme is the Wizard of Oz. So we're going to delve into the timeless lessons that are woven into the Wizard of Oz. So in the Wizard of Oz, we find lessons of courage, lessons of friendship, and self-discovery. The Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the Lion represent qualities that we all possess and we underestimate. Ultimately, it's a tale realizing our inner strength and the importance of the journey, not the destination. So tonight I will share through the evening 5 lessons and a summation of what this classic tale brings to us. So the first, we will start with the Wizard of Oz symbolizes aspects within ourselves. Dorothy's innocence, the Scarecrow's pursuit of knowledge, the Tin Man's need for empathy, the Lion's battle with fear, the Wizard's revelation that true solutions come from within. So our first lesson is Dorothy, innocence, determination. Like Dorothy, we all possess innocence and determination. The journey represents the transition from naive to a mature way of understanding ourselves and knowing that the answers lie within us. So stay tuned for some more lessons. So now I'm going to introduce those others that will be helping me throughout this evening. I'd like you to have a warm welcome for our Thought Master of the Day. Please welcome Toastmaster Andrea.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It would have been his 95th birthday that we celebrated on this wonderful day of service yesterday, not day off, but day on, as we like to say. And we wanted to just come up today to just say thank you for having a dream. I don't know how many of you have looked at our Instagram, but what I said was, he had a dream that all of us would be able to sit here together. Because when he made that speech, this wasn't common. We had to hide to have these type of meetings where we shared like stories of oppression and depression and celebration and triumph. But because he had that dream, his dream lived on. And like this young lady said, and it was powerful. She was like 8 years old, 8 or 9 years old. And she said, y'all killed the dreamer, but you couldn't kill the dream. So today I let you know that they cannot kill your dream. All you have to do is have the dream, believe the dream, pursue the dream. You can achieve the dream. Back to you.
Thank you. That is awesome. Thank you. Okay, next I'd like to introduce our grammarian, Toastmaster Shannon.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. A lot when talking about the Wizard of Oz is said about Dorothy and her virtues. But tonight, our word of the evening will be, I think, the unsung hero of The Wizard of Oz, Wicked. The Wicked Witch of the West, the most underrated, misunderstood character in all of anthology. Let me give you a definition. I will accept several definitions tonight since wicked is so widely used nowadays. As an adjective, it is evil or morally bad in principle or practice. Or mischievous or playfully malicious. But I will also accept, as an adverb, the slang very, really, totally, as in that shirt is wicked cool, from those of you who are from Boston tonight. Tonight, as grammarian, I will be listening for those ahs, those filler words, and I will be I'll be listening for them with an iron fist. But I will deliver my report with a velvet glove. Because that's what we do here at Toastmasters. We help you better yourselves by people like me maliciously listening to your filler words. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shannon, for your wicked cool word of the day. I'd like to now introduce our timer, Toastmaster Dana.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Welcome, honored guests and fellow Toastmasters. My role as timer is to keep us all on time. Each of the speeches are allocated between 5 and 7 minutes. So beginning with the speeches, I will hold up the green folder flag at 5 minutes. At 6 minutes, I will hold up the yellow, and at 7 minutes, the red. When we get to table topics, that's a little bit shorter in duration. So I will hold up the green at 1 minute and the yellow at 1.5 minutes and the red at 2 minutes. And then when we get to the evaluators, that is again a little bit shorter in duration than a normal speech, but a little longer than table topics. That will be green at 2 minutes, and that's going to be yellow at 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And that is going to be red at 3 minutes. And juggling all of these is kind of difficult. It's quite a shuffle, but I will try to keep everybody on track for time as I hold all of these up, but I won't consider anyone to be too wicked if they go over. Thank you.
Okay. Now on to our speakers. I would like to introduce our first speaker, Toastmaster Allison, who will be sharing with us Beyond Fear. And here you go.
Fear. It is a very powerful emotion. It's an emotion that if you choose to lean into it, can give you some of the biggest thrills of your life. But it's also an emotion that can give us anxiety and that inability to take a step forward. The root of fear comes from a good place. It generally is trying to keep us safe, but it becomes problematic when we feel like we can't move out of our comfort zone. Take a moment to yourself. Think about what fears do you have right now? As an adult, besides the fear of something very traumatic happening to myself or a family member from a health perspective, my biggest fear was losing a job. I grew up in a very financially stable family. And because of that, I adopted that similar mindset and therefore didn't take much risk when it came to my career or money. It's now September 2022. I have been to Lisbon, London, Las Vegas, and Denver for work. After all of this, I am exhausted. And that exhaustion was then added on to many months of just feeling unfulfilled, unhappy in my role. I knew I needed to look for another job, but at that point, I just did not have the mental energy or really the time to go about doing that. I told myself, come January, I'll start looking for another job. Now it is October 6th. I am forced to face my fear head on. I'm told my company is doing a reorg and my job is eliminated. And I would have thought, since this was one of my biggest fears, that what would have come over me when this was told to me would be some feeling of fear. But the funny thing was, I didn't feel fear. I actually felt a sense of relief. I knew I probably needed a little push to get me moving in the direction that I needed to go. And I think that was the universe's way of doing it. I stopped working right around the holidays and had severance, so I didn't jump right back into trying to find another job. I had a recruiter present a job to me pretty early on, and that combined with the previous skills I had gained in my job and the job title gave me a false sense of what looking and getting a new job was going to look like. We're now in Q1 of 2023. I've had two very prominent job opportunities, didn't get either one of them. I did feel a little frustrated, a little deflated, but I knew they were not the right jobs for me. And I had faith that the right job was going to come along at the right time. We're now in April of 2023. And I'm realizing this job search thing, it's not quite as easy as I thought it was going to be. And I started getting a little bit more aggressive with my efforts at this point. I had come from financial services. At this point, I'm looking at every financial service company there is. I'm applying left and right. I'm looking at other sectors where I'd be a good fit. I start contacting a lot of extra recruiters, feeling slightly deflated when they tell me this is one of the worst job markets that they have seen in recent years. I start trying to go out of my comfort zone of what I'm going to do. That sparks in summer where I'm like, I need to up my networking. I start at this point, I get very focused on my target companies. I start reaching out to people that I don't know at any of these companies, trying to get an in. I set up coffee dates with people I don't know, just to, again, try to get some more information. I go to networking events to try to broaden the number of people I know. We're getting to the end of summer now in 2023. There's some excitement, anticipation. The September surge is about to come. This is the time when historically companies are doing a lot of hiring between the end of summer and right before the holidays. This could be it. This could be the time where I finally find my new job. I enter into September of 2023 filled with lots of optimism and energy and positivity. But the positivity doesn't last long. At this point, I am just exhausted of looking for a job. I am sick of being on LinkedIn. I want to know where my career is going. And I really just want to buy a new pair of CrossFit shoes that I have been putting off for almost a year at this point. We're now in mid-September. A friend reaches out to me saying he saw on a friend of his LinkedIn page about a job at his company that he thought I could be a good fit for. I'm a little hesitant at first. The job is in a different industry than I have been in. It also doesn't have the leadership responsibilities I've had in the past and thought I was looking for again. However, when I stopped to reflect, I realized I don't think I want to be managing the people or the number of people that I was managing prior. And this role would actually be a great fit of where I'm trying to move in my career by learning some different skills. We're now October 9th, 2023. I start my new position. This is almost a year after I have stopped working at my previous job. And you may all think, because I said this was one of my biggest fears, I would be so happy because this fear was removed. But don't get me wrong, I was happy that I got a new work challenge. I was happy that I'm going to be having a consistent income again. I'm happy I don't need a job search anymore. But what I wasn't necessarily happy about was removing this fear, because actually what happened during this time was I wasn't living actually in fear. I realized during this time that this fear that I had in my head was actually just the story I was telling myself about how bad something was going to be. For this year, I actually lived with a lot of joy in my life. There was some frustration, but overall, no, it was joy. And I came out of this learning that, well, maybe I don't want to go through this period of my life again. I came out of it stronger in so many ways. I'm now not as afraid of the unknown, more willing to take risk. And as we now entered recently into a new month, into a new year, I want to take this opportunity, challenge all of you. What in 2024 is one of your fears? And can you really step into that fear? Because what I think you're going to find, it's not going to be bad as you think. And you may come out living one of the biggest thrills of your life. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Allison. I'd like to introduce our next speaker for this evening, Toastmaster Andrea, who will share with us Motown Sound.
The gavel. That's in the gavel. Nothing you could do, 'cause I'm stuck like glue to my girl. I'm going to take you back. I know you know the Temptations with the shiny jackets on and how wonderful of a sound that is, a transformation. Can I get somebody to help me with this jacket for 1 second? A transformation that they, in that song, it takes you back to Motown, right? It takes you back to the wonderful times that we all know and love. But I'm going to take you back to my hometown. And because we won, yes, we won. After 31 years, 30, almost 33 years, we won the championship. So I'm going to take you back to Motown and I'm going to celebrate just a time where we all loved each other. And that song means so much to me. That town means so much to me because that's where I first became the champion. It was that day in May, and no, I did not have a lovely day, or it wasn't a sunny day. It became a very somber day. As my daughter's music teacher called me and he said, "Miss Williams, we know Jade has epilepsy and we understand that she's autistic, but we have to remove her from the music class." At that moment, I lost my voice. I didn't know what to say. Here I am, a parent with limited time, and surely I didn't know how to play the clarinet to teach her myself, with a child that had a dream. Her dream was to one day play in the HBCU marching band. and he was threatening to take it away. And I let him until he said this. And we're going to take the clarinet from her. And I said, hold up. Let me do that. So here I am driving home. Imagine, I don't know if you had to tell your child something you just did not want to tell them because you knew they would be disappointed. That's what I faced that day. It was weighing on my shoulders. I wanted to cry for her. And as I told her, I had a little shakiness in my voice because at that time, because she was epileptic and autistic, and maybe you don't understand epilepsy and autism, but at that time, she couldn't handle change. At that time, the doctors told me she would not be able to do most of what she's doing today. At that time, she couldn't even remember how to tie her shoes. And all she wanted to do was play the clarinet. So I said, Jade, I sat her down. I said, baby, they said that you will no longer be able to be in music class because of your epilepsy. Not because we were Black, clearly, or broke, because I paid for her to have a clarinet, but because she had epilepsy, because she's a neurodivergent child. That means she thinks differently, learns differently, but she can learn and she can think. She looked at me with those big old eyes. And she said, Mom, can you give me a clarinet and a book for my birthday in July? But Jade, you don't have a teacher. I don't have time to take you to a private class because I got to go to work. And she said, you taught me. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, Philippians 3:14. We got her a clarinet in a book. Because we got her that clarinet in a book and she connected to that instrument, she remembered how to tie her shoes. She remembered how to get to class. She started learning. She started excelling. And it taught me something. That was the day I became her champion. That was the day that I no longer let what somebody else told me she couldn't do or she couldn't learn stop her. Fast forward, I started writing books and I kept wondering why when I did speeches and when I talked about this, I always wanted to sing. It was because Motown, the Motown song, the music is what connected me and my daughter. And the music is what connects me to your heart. Hopefully that you understand that when you connect with your child or you connect with yourself on the things that you like doing, you won't have the frustration. You won't have the I want to quit. But you will move forward and you will pursue your dreams. And so that was the next step. Once she connected, she started pursuing. Not only did this child teach herself how to play this clarinet, but she became first chair in high school. Not only did this child learn how to play the clarinet, but she learned how to play the bass clarinet too, which is like the most complicated freaking instrument there is. But Jade did it. They called me one day and said Jade couldn't be in algebra. And she told them, well, I'm going to college. I need a year of algebra. Let her take it. If she failed, oh well. At least she tried. At least she got the chance to learn. That's what we have to do. We have to allow them to fly. If we never let them develop those wings, they will never fly. So what is step 3? I'm sure you've guessed it by now. It's watch them fly. And you know where I watched this child fly? Right over there on Bettisford Road at Johnson C. Smith University, where she was a marching bull. Yes, she got a scholarship. Half of her tuition was paid because we let her play a clarinet. We got her that clarinet and a book. So you might not think these steps work, that if you connect, pursue, and then let them fly, watch them fly, work. But guess what? These steps are proven. They even got my child to college on a scholarship because of a clarinet. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Andrea. All right, so getting back to our lessons from the Wizard of Oz. Lesson number 2, the Scarecrow, intellect and wisdom. The Scarecrow seeks a brain, highlighting our quest of knowledge and wisdom. It suggests that we often underestimate our own intellect and capabilities and potential. The knowledge is both a balance of the internal and the external of education. Lesson number 3, the Tin Man. The Tin Man, compassion and empathy. The Tin Man desires a heart, symbolizing our need for compassion and empathy. It reflects the idea that despite challenges, maintaining caring and empathetic nature is essential for our personal growth. I'd like to now introduce Toastmaster Momita for our table topics.
Toastmaster. Good evening, Toastmaster and dear guests. Wizard of Oz is new to me. Thanks for the topic. I learned, I was researching on this topic, what is Wizard of Oz? And it's an interesting one. I have watched half, but I'm going to finish it up today evening. So I would like to request some volunteers to come over here and we'll have a discussion on Wizard of Oz. Yeah, thank you. Toastmaster, yeah, Yasmin. So, who is your favorite character in Wizard of Oz?
Who is my favorite character in The Wizard of Oz? I would have to say that in the movie, my favorite character would have to be the Tin Man, just because kind of the progression of his character through the movie and just his whole concept of not having a heart because he's made of metal and then going through this journey with these people he's just met, kind of, navigating this insane path that they go through. And in the end, he realizes he does have a heart, is just kind of a great metaphor, but just also a little, just something that, I don't know. I just feel like it was a very powerful thing. Of course, there were the other characters like the lion who thought he didn't have courage and things like that. But for some reason, the Tin Man character just resonated and just kind of hit me right in the feels when I would watch that movie when I was younger. So yeah, I would say that I would pick the Tin Man as my favorite character.
I'll focus on that today when I'm watching the rest of the movie. It's Tin Man, right? Okay. Anyone else would like to volunteer? Hi, Chris. Your favorite dialogue in that movie?
Favorite dialogue?
In that movie.
So it's been a number of years since I've seen The Wizard of Oz. I don't know if I can remember a very specific dialogue. I think I watched it very often growing up because I'm actually from Kansas, and that was a very popular thing for middle school substitute teachers. It's sometimes why I tell people I'm from Nebraska, because I don't want the Wizard of Oz comments. But I guess the one dialogue that I can remember would be the Wicked Witch sending out her flying monkeys. That was always a fun scene in the movie. And I can't really remember anything else. I guess the end was them pulling back the curtain from the wizard. But it has been many, many years, and it's really pushing the memory of trying to remember what happened. So I would say sending in the flying monkeys would be it.
Yeah, anyone else? Any volunteer? Martin? Sorry to put you on spot. Your favorite part of the
I don't know. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. Question was, I don't think we have anybody on Zoom, but for those that are going to rewatch it, what was my favorite part of the movie, The Wizard of Oz? Last time I saw the movie, I was probably 5 years old, so I have to say I can't recall many things that happened at 5, let alone a specific part of a movie. With that said, though, I'm trying to recall a favorite part of a movie in general. I think recently I started to rewatch a movie called Fight Club, I believe it's called. And the main character, Tyler Durden, there's a scene in that movie where I guess he looks in front of a mirror, might be making stuff up now, but he looks in front of a mirror, and there's, one scene where he sees himself, which is what other people see, Tyler Durden. And then right beside him in the background, something like this, there's almost like that dark side of him that he sees. And it provided a lot of insight that made me think about all of our dark side and maybe our dark side, and how can we harness that in order to propel us to do better instead of suppressing that and letting it come out in more dangerous ways down the road. So I think recently that was maybe not my favorite, but most thought-provoking part of a movie that I've recently seen. So if you guys have never seen that Fight Club, I definitely recommend watching it. As for The Wizard of Oz, sorry guys, but can't comment too much. Mito, back to you.
Martin, that's a nice turnaround. Yeah. So I would like to end the session over here. Thank you, Toastmasters.
Thank you, Toastmasters. Okay, jumping back in for a few more lessons. Lesson number 4, the Cowardly Lion, courage, inner strength. Similar to the Cowardly Lion, we face moments of fear and self-doubt. The journey teaches us that courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to confront it, revealing our inner strength. And lesson number 5, the wizard, self-perception. The wizard represents how we may perceive ourselves and how we may perceive others. The revelation that the wizard is just a man behind the curtain illustrates the power of self-awareness and understanding true capabilities. I'd like to now introduce fellow Toastmaster Tom.
Wicked meeting tonight, everybody. I wrote that one down when Shannon said the word. All right, I'll be the general evaluator, but before I give my evaluation, I'm going to bring up the individual speech evaluators. First up, David. Evaluating Allison.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. And good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests, and especially Allison. Allison's title was Beyond Fear. And first, I want to say you had some great body language. You just started off entertaining us, used the stage appropriately, back and forth. And your speech was based on storytelling, and I think you did a great job of telling a story. You had your timeline of your career, and then finally, your career was kind of challenging, and you were vulnerable, and you kind of told us about it. And that's the great thing about Toastmasters. This is kind of therapy. You can get up here and just share stories. We've all shared some stories. Shannon shared a great story recently, and it's just a way to do great therapy. You had great vocal variety, and your facial expressions are always great. I don't know if you're doing them on purpose or that's just how you are, but facial expressions are great. And my favorite part, most people didn't pick up on this because they don't know, but you mentioned that you put your CrossFit shoes off because you didn't have any money or you were being frugal, but you did join Toastmasters. So you have your priorities, Toastmasters over shoes. So that was great. Now, room for improvement. You'll see it on the video if you watch it, but you slap a lot. And it's very noticeable. And I think everybody heard it. You probably did it a dozen times whenever you're talking. And I thought you had an opportunity to engage, connect with the audience when you talked about getting laid off. If you could have asked who here has been laid off, who's been fired, I think half the room, if not more, would have been. They would have connected more with you, and then you would have been more comfortable because you would have known most of the audience is in the same position as you. You stated you were not living in fear when this happened. No, I've been laid off and I was in a lot of fear. In fact, I was born and raised in Miami, and now I live in North Carolina because of getting laid off. So that was a big fear. And finally, you did do a call to action. You challenge us to live in our own fears and not be scared, basically, of everything that's out there. So it was a great speech. And yeah, just watch the little hits. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you. Great job, David. Now Alan evaluating Andrea's speech.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. It is an honor and a privilege to evaluate Andrea's speech tonight. I believe Andrea is working on this speech for the upcoming International Speech Contest. So I was filled in a little bit by David coming into the meeting as far as what to look out for, which we'll touch on in a moment. But I'll first share all the wonderful things that I enjoyed about Andrea's speech. She immediately engaged us with the jacket, which, by the way, was fabulous and very much Andrea. And wish you would have kept it on the whole time, honestly, because it's just so fitting for you. But definitely really connected with the whole story about how she helped her daughter overcome being told no. And you could definitely feel Andrea's emotion many times throughout the speech and just really feel the struggle of her as a mother having to deal with her child being told she can't do something and how she helped her daughter overcome that and get to where she is now. There was very effective uses of pausing throughout the speech as she went from one phase in her daughter's life to the next, and so on. And the vocal variety was very much on point as well when she talked about all the highs of how her daughter triumphed over certain circumstances, or some of the obstacles that she had to deal with, whether there was a more lower tone or even in some cases just outright anger. And the speech had a very good structure. She told us in the very beginning the story she was going to tell, and then recapped her 3 points as far as how to help your child or anyone else in your life overcome any obstacles or pursue their goals. As far as some suggestions, I know David had mentioned to me earlier that you had sang, but it went over the time limit for how much you can use other material throughout a speech. Now, I didn't actually know this myself until 30 minutes ago, but it's a Toastmasters international speech official rule that only 10% of your speech can consist of unofficial content. So Andrea sang part of the temptations in the beginning. Now let's just say your speech is 7 minutes. So 10% of that, that's 42 seconds. So I don't know how long you actually sang part of that song in the beginning, but I think you had enough time where you could have tied in maybe another song towards the end to recap your story, especially since the title is Motown Sounds. Now, I don't know how a timer in a contest is going to keep track of that, but I think there's definitely at least a few more seconds where you could have sang something. And I know that Whitney Houston's not from Detroit, but Greatest Love of All would be a great fitting song for that. Or if there's some other Motown song that has that similar theme, that would work too. And then going back to the jacket, like I said, I love it. It was fabulous. It was very glittery and just very befitting of the chocolate butterfly that you are. I know you put on the Lions jacket to celebrate the recent victory. I don't want to throw shade, but I don't think they're going to go much further. So you might want to keep the jacket on that you had originally. Plus, not only that, just I think having that jacket on really is more cohesive to the speech as opposed to that one, even though it is, I know that's where you're from. But I know I've gone on and on about that jacket, but I just think keeping it on, I just think keeping it on would be more in line with your speech. And then it kind of alleviates the struggle of having to take it off because when you're competing for real, there's not going to be anyone to help you take it off. So I look forward to hearing the next version of the speech, and hopefully you will advance far along in the contest. And the district contest will be in Asheville in May. So hopefully you will make it and represent Division C. And then when we're done, we'll go to Wicked Weed Brewery in Asheville to celebrate. Thank you.
Excellent evaluation, Alan. He made a very good point about the jacket and some excellent quick math. David and I checked it. Your math on 10% of 7 minutes. So meeting tonight went really well. I enjoyed the Wizard of Oz theme, and I like how you structured it with the 5 lessons of the different characters. Inspirational speaker. We were very lucky to get a double dose of Andrea tonight. Very quick inspirational speech, but I think that's because you save the inspiration for your actual prepared speech. But thank you for doing that. Allison, I really enjoyed your speech. I think you did a really great job of taking us on a journey by telling your story. You gave me some anxiety because I have never lost a job before. And I think I'm invincible, but I probably am not. However, I noticed that a lot of your speech was just telling the story, and it was a good story, but I think that I would have appreciated a little bit more focus on like the lesson of living, facing your fears. Beyond Fear was the name of the speech. But overall, I really enjoyed it. Andrea, what more can be said? You should have kept the jacket on. But I really enjoyed your story. I don't have anything else to say. Table topics, Mamita. I think that you should really try to talk louder. I was sitting at the back there, admittedly, but I couldn't hear a single thing that you said. That HVAC unit is pretty loud, so just something to take into consideration. That being said, I have no idea if I'm talking loud enough. And I don't think many of us know if we're talking loud enough. So maybe something that we could do in the future is have somebody who sits in the back and kind of like gives some sort of indicator, like you need to go louder, you need to. I do? You can't hear me? I'm not going to raise my volume, but I'll come stand up here. Also, Mamita, I feel that your questions were very closed-ended. rather, there's not really a lot of elaboration that you could do on them. They're very much just like, what's your favorite color? What'd you eat for lunch? But people are supposed to be talking for 1 to 2 minutes. So I think that you should try to make them a little bit more open-ended, can be spoken on for a longer period of time. That is all I have to say for my general evaluation tonight. And now I need to bring back up the timer and the grammarian. So I'll start with Dana. She's standing up. Timer.
Thank you very much. Everyone did a really excellent job with their time tonight. Allison, you came in right at 7 minutes and 9 seconds, so right within the time frame that was allocated for your speech. Andrea, you came in at 7 minutes and 8 seconds, so just about the same and well within your time frame. So both of you, good job. Excellent timing. For table topics, Yasmin, you were at 1 minute and 9 seconds, so that's great. That's right around where you're supposed to be. Chris, 1 minute, 9 seconds. Again, perfect, just right where you're supposed to be. And Martin, 1 minute, 35 seconds, also within range. You didn't go over the 2-minute marker. And I think we can all appreciate that. May have been a while since some of us have seen The Wizard of Oz, but Fight Club is a good movie too. For the evaluators, David, your evaluation came in at 2 minutes, 11 seconds. Perfect. Alan, your evaluation came in at 4 minutes, 23 seconds, but I thought it was time well spent, especially on the jacket, which I also loved. And that's all I've got.
Thank you. Now Shannon for the grammarian report.
Thanks, sir. Tom, oddly enough, I've never been told to be quiet. I've never been told I talk too low. I've often been reprimanded for speaking too loud. But I always like to feel that the back of the room is hearing me just as well as the front. If the front is not in pain with eardrums bleeding, I know that I'm not reaching the people in the very back cheap seats. Word of the day usage. Very well done, ladies and gentlemen. Aly, Dana, Chris, Tom, and Alan all use the word of the day. Wicked awesome. Very good. As for filler words, it was sparse, ladies and gentlemen. What a magnificent job everyone did with their filler words. I did hear maybe 2, and I was really straining to hear them. So that is the sign of a club that is really paying attention to what they are saying and how they are using those filler words, as in not using those filler words. Now, as grammarian, not only am I listening to filler words, I'm also listening for really good turns of phrases or phrases that really kind of caught my ear. Andrea, you said, if we never let them try, they will never learn to fly. I thought that was a great line. And once again, I would be remiss if I did not, in my own way, say that was a wicked awesome jacket. You should keep it on. I like the sparklies. They make it pretty. And I'm going to end this by something that one of our table topics speakers said. Send in the flying monkeys. What a world, what a world, what a world. Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator.
All right, and that's going to end the evaluation portion of the meeting. Turning back over to Aly.
Thank you. All right. In summary of the insights of The Wizard of Oz, The characters all gain confidence through their encounters with the wizard, realizing they all had the qualities within that they were already seeking. This underscores the importance of believing in ourselves and recognizing our strengths. Also, just as Dorothy's longs for the adventure, the Scarecrow was seeking wisdom and a brain, the Tin Man was craving love in his heart, and the Lion was battling his fears and self-doubt. We too navigate similar emotions and quests in our own lives. The story encourages us to recognize these traits within ourselves and foster understanding, growth, self-discovery, compassion, and grace. In the tapestry of the Wizard of Oz, let us draw inspiration to confront our fears, to embrace our strengths, and to appreciate the importance of friendship and all the possibilities. Thank you. I'd like to bring up Toastmaster Elvis.
Thank you so much. Another round of applause for our Toastmaster of the day. Now, some information before we close out the meeting. As Alan was touching upon when he was doing evaluation, there is a contest that happens first at the club level, then at the area, it goes up to the division level and then the district level. So he touched upon that. The district contest is going to happen in May, but next week we have our contest in our club. Next week, we will have two types of contests. One is the international speech contest for members who have completed up to their second level in their pathways. And the other contest is table topics contest, also for members, actual members, active members of the club who wants to participate. There's no other requisite than just being an active member. So you're still on time. There is still time for any of you members who would like to participate next week in our table topics contest. The area contest will happen within mid-February to mid-March. And then we will have the division contest that will happen in April. And the district contest will happen in May. So those who actually went on at the club level will go to the area, division, and so on. It's a very fun activity and it's open to all Toastmasters. So if you don't participate as a contestant, I will also encourage you to support your fellow club members and other members of other clubs within our area and our division and our district. So pay attention to those dates. We are going to be repeating them in the following weeks so that we are all aware of that. Members, also, I would like to remind you, as now taking the hat of the VP of Education of our club, please sign up for Pathways if you haven't done so. And remember to also record your projects, your speeches. When you give a speech, to mark on your Pathways so that you take the credits, and also the clubs will benefit from those credits so that we become a distinguished club. If you see all of those banners here, all of these things are distinguished club awards that we have gotten throughout the years because our members go through speeches and we meet certain goals. So in order for us to be able to accomplish our goals this Toastmaster year of distinguished, select distinguished, or president distinguished, which is the highest award that a club receives, we need to continue participating, giving our speeches, but also recording them. As a VP of Education, I will be also always available to help any of you achieve your goals, your educational goals, going through pathways and making sure that you are actually accomplishing everything that you want to get out of participating on this club. With that said, I would like to now turn the microphone back to our guests. We would like to hear a little bit from you. What are your general thoughts about the meeting as a whole? So, Toastmaster David.
Thank you. Well, before I do that, as Club Growth Director, we have a demo meeting next Tuesday at 12:30 downtown Charlotte area. It's for the City of Charlotte Child Services Department. It's for the adults that run it. And the demo meeting is basically, we do a regular meeting in front of a group of people. So we always need assistance. So if you're available next Tuesday, 12:30, you can reach out to me. We need timers, evaluators, speakers, need a speaker, all that good stuff. So just reach out to me after the meeting. For now, we had a guest sneak in, so I wanted you to introduce yourself, tell us how you heard about us and what you want to do here.
Good evening. My name is Alfonso Carter. I've been following Toastmasters for quite some time. I actually came and attended as a guest twice before COVID. But then once COVID happened, we understand, the dynamics with that. And, you just life is life. And I said, you know what, I really need to get back into Toastmasters because I really enjoy the structure of it. I really enjoy the energy in it in regards to like the critique with love. When someone critiques you with the motive of making you better, you can tell, as opposed to bashing you. That's something that I recognize and I never forgot. So today I'm back. I even brought my wife so she could just kind of get a understanding of the meeting and what's it about, and just look forward to us two joining. Yes.
I found a lot of men bring their wives here because wives wonder what you're doing on Tuesday nights. So it's like, yeah, I'm actually doing something. So he's here. And Rocky, which is also named my grandson. Final words?
Yeah. Once again, I've really enjoyed myself, and I've got to get in contact with Jamie so I can give him my due so I can officially become a member. So I'm ready to go and make that move. So I've just really enjoyed my time here and me trying to come on Tuesdays as much as I can to learn and grow as much as I can. So I just look forward to this year and, what everybody can accomplish. So.
Thank you much. Appreciate it. Also want to announce we have our secretary had to drop out. We have a new secretary of the club, Dana. So welcome as our club officer as secretary. So perfect. Chris, any final words from you?
Enjoyed it. As always, the previous 2 or 3 times that I've been here. Baby steps to gradually speak a little bit more, but looking forward to coming back and probably joining at some point.
Perfect. Thank you. Awesome. We got some snacks and cookies over there for her if she wants any. And our salesman, go ahead.
My name is Tavares. And first of all, I just want to say that this was exactly what I thought it would be. Aly Brooks, amazing. Shannon, amazing. Speakers, amazing. I said something to Shannon when I got in here. I said, if you get in the middle of the bed, you don't have to worry about falling off either side. So I decided that today would be the day when we join Toastmasters. So no time like the present. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here.
Appreciate it. Oh, final guess.
Well, to be honest, I really didn't know what I was walking into. My boss, Sarah, always recommends things to me. And the girls at work, I told them, yeah, it's at some church in Plaza Midwood. And they thought I was going to like AA secretly. So I really didn't know what to expect, but I loved it. And I'll definitely be joining. So
Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. Thank you, Elvis.
Thank you, Toastmaster David. Right. And if you're just experiencing for the first time, every meeting is different. Every time we have new speakers, new volunteers, people are doing different things. So no two meetings are the same. So we encourage you to continue participating. Come visit us again if you feel so, and we would be happy if you can join us as well. You can reap the benefits of Toastmaster by being a member. There's a whole educational system behind all this, and you take what you put in. It's all about you. You come here and get your reps in. You practice every single week, every time you come here, and that's how we keep working on our goals to becoming a better speaker, a better communicator, a better leader. So it's all on you. You put the work and you will see the results. With that said, I would like to call this meeting to a close. Thank you everyone for coming tonight, and I hope to see you next week. We have our club contest. Good night, everyone.